All right, good morning, everybody. So we're getting closer to the end of the project, but I do have some more artwork to rig. Today we've just got Paige just standing. She's just a regular bog standard puppet. One of her arms is sticking out a little different than the normal A pose. But other than that, let's just get to work. So we'll do our normal rename behaviors. So I'm going to rename face to torso. And I used to always name it body like OK Samurai suggested, but now there's body behavior. And if you're using that, it can get confusing. So that's why I call it torso instead of body. We'll rename our dragger to right hand. We'll add a dragger. Call it left hand. I'm gonna add auto blink, and I'm gonna add limb IK. So front I want tagged as front and also as a head. I'm gonna move that to where I want it to pivot. Head I want tagged as head, and I'm gonna add face behavior to that. And back hair I want tagged independent, I want tagged as a head. Also add face behavior to that. And attach it where we want. I find sometimes with the longer hair, I can tell this is an older head. So it's got the really long neck. I used to always want the hair to move from a different spots, but lately I haven't been using that as much. So I don't know if I'm getting better at rigging or, yeah, probably getting better at rigging. So I'm gonna start off with that as an ear. This head, face behavior, head position strength, 0, head scale strength, 0, head tilt I'll leave at 75, and parallax I'm going to put at 200. So head position strength and head scale strength, you can adjust those. Then if you get closer to the camera for head scale strength, it'll get bigger, and if you hover, it'll tell you what each of those settings does. I just do my standard and then adjust after. Does she have a mask or anything? So let's do the eyebrows the new way. And surprised we have an extra frame in there, 1 and 2. It was just too big of a jump. But you don't have to have that if you don't want it. We just have it standard. And it looks best if it advances every 2 frames. And let's not forget to set our... So you can also, I don't do live recording with these puppets. That's why I only ever set one trigger to just enough to pull it onto the timeline. But if you were doing a live performance, obviously you'd probably want to fill in all those triggers with different keys. Let's zoom in a little bit. And I like to now turn off or hide all the other forms. It's just a little easier to see what we're doing. Hotkey is S for stick. Then I'll go to forms, put my pivot point. L is the hotkey for the tag or whatever that's called, that little round thing. S for stick. V for the little pointer. I think you could attach these onto the body if you wanted to, but I'm already on arm, so I'm just going to attach shoulder to arm. It's worth learning the hotkeys. I was watching some of the older videos just to see if I'd improved, and I never used hotkeys, and it's significantly slower. It's kind of annoying when you're starting to learn them, but it's really a time saver. I'm quite startled how much time it saves me. Draggable. And Paige isn't going to be walking in this scene, whoops. So I'm just going to do the single stick in the leg. If we thought we might want her to walk later, I would probably do the rigging differently, but okay, we're ready to do our swap sets. And this handset we've just developed over time. So all I've done is lined everything up so that they'll always attach to the wrist at the correct angle, and just layered them in the artwork. But you could use whatever hands you wanted. And again, if you were doing a live recording, you might want to assign a lot more triggers than what I've got. Oh, whoops. I apologize, everyone. I thought I logged out of Facebook. Oh, computer fan, you are so loud. And this is right hands. So let's actually rename that so it shows up correctly on the timeline. Okay, so left and right arm we're going to want on hinge. Let's go back to head. And make her face move when she talks, because I often forget to do that till I get to lip syncing. So the top line on face base will make the top line fixed, and the bottom line into jaw, and that has to be independent as well. Did I do her ears? Face behavior, tag them as a head. The right ear is in front, so that can be plus 150. And you can make these any settings that you want. These ones are just the ones I learned from OK Samurai, and they worked out really good on our puppets. So I usually start off with those. And head position strength is minus 150. Let's do some hair. Okay, so in nose, I'm gonna center nose over the nose. P for the pin tool. D for the dangle tool. Where are these ones? Attached to the ear, that's a good idea. I think this is an older puppet, maybe just a recolor with new arms. And let's do back hair. Independent. I think we're ready to pull her in. Did I put Lin Mai and everything? I did. Let's check her out, see if she floats. Okay, so let's go into torso and put in our settings. 0, 0, and normally I go 30 when they're sitting behind the desk, but lately I've been finding when they're standing 15 is better. And then let's go into face, head. Oh, that one's already done. Okay, so let's zoom in so we can check out her back hair. So face, back hair. And I don't like how her head is attached. Oh, that's why. Okay, so I'll have to readjust back hair. This is the left and right, and then head tilt is that one. That's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, let's go in and change where the back hair. I find the longer the hair, the higher the pivot point looks a little better higher up. Okay, and the other thing that will help that illusion, let's put physics on back hair so we can adjust it separately and make it hang a little, like dangle a little bit, so then when she moves her head, it'll hang better. Oops, that's why. Oops. There we go. I might fiddle around with that a little bit more. Then I don't know if we want to look at the arms. They're kind of the same in every video if you've watched any others, but I did have someone say they liked watching it right from scratch. So to get everything on the timeline, I turn off everything but triggers and I just activate my single. Oh, did I not do swap Sorry, sidetracked, but I realized I forgot to do, so right hands. That one's in. They look like they're all in the swap set. What did I do? I was in the wrong arm, left arm. There, you can see. So if you haven't done your swap sets correctly, just go into where they should be, and you can see when they're in a swap set, they'll have this little finger pointer, and I forgot to put in swap set 4 in my left hand, so you can just add them in later. So we'll go to left hands, open it up, and we'll put default in default, point, open self, open palm. Yeah, sometimes these straightforward rigs, you get really casual and forget some obvious things. There we go. Okay, so one more time, just put an example of each on your timeline. Control 2 gives you 2-frame take, which is really easy to pull and drag out. And then I usually just delete everything that I don't need. And from now on, when I want to do animating, everything's on the timeline and I can just pull it in the drop down like that. So because I'm not doing live work, this works perfectly for me. Yeah, so to do the forearms, what I usually do is just pull out and Control Shift D to break up your visemes. Oops. And then again to get it closed. And now on this line I can select whatever hand that I want, and because we did our swap sets correctly, it should show correctly on all of them. And occasionally I'll like jimmy around with where I want the forearms to open up depending on how the rest pose is. Like this one, it's nice to have that transition. It just makes everything a little more smooth. The other nice thing, so if we turn on our arms, I usually just check it in these, but you can move them on any forearm, which is great. So normally what I do is I just have this at the end of my timeline. I go through and do all the hands that I want. So I'd be doing like, oh, I think this, but that. And then you just you have this and just copy paste it in wherever you want. It's really nice and quick. Pull this to the end, and then I know that open self looks best on one, so I'll just slide those over like that. And then I do a biceps pass. I'd go in and angle this hand, I think, just to give you an idea. Yeah. So if you're wondering how I do animation, it's basically like that. So I go through, I do a lip sync pass, then I do an eyebrows pass, then I do a hands pass, then I do forearms, and add the biceps. And when you play it all together, it just looks really great. But anyway, that's just a basic, straightforward rig. Not sure if you learned anything new today, but I know when I was starting, just watching someone rig over and over was really helpful. So I thought I'd do just a plain basic rig with a little bit of basic animating in it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Oh, hey, Paige. What's up?
Would you be willing to give me some feedback on that interview to sort of explain where you think I may have gone wrong?
Yeah, I think that would be really beneficial. You want to meet now?
Sure.
Okay. Let me grab my notes.